Alright, we're going to strip the barrel out of this 308, which is basically the same on the 5.56 also. Tools that you're going to need a 3/16 inch Allen wrench, a 1/8 inch Allen wrench, 3/32 Allen wrench, a small piece of wire, a cleaning rod. I have a special rod that I built for doing installation just to make it easier, but you can use a standard cleaning rod. Possibly a hammer, some red Loctite, and a heat gun. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the upper from the lower with the 2 push pins. Remove the bolt carrier group. First thing we're going to do is remove the rail. So we're going to take the 1/8 inch wrench, undo the fasteners, and it will just pop right out. It uses little cam nuts similar to an M-lock design. So we're going to take that off, set that apart. We've got red Loctite on this fastener and these 2 fasteners that hold the barrel in. And then we're also going to want to remove the charging handle. So let's remove the charging handle first. On this 308, it uses the 3/32 Allen wrench, and we're just going to remove that. Now if I was just changing the charging handle, or if I wanted to just remove the charging handle, you're going to want to put some pressure on the charging rod. It's spring loaded. You want to put some pressure on it so that you can take the fastener out and do whatever you wanted to do. If you were replacing the charging handle, then you can just put it on. When you take the charging handle off, the charging rod is spring loaded, so it's going to want to come out the front. So I can just take that out the front with my cleaning rod, or I can just dump it upside down and remove it. We'll set that aside. Now we're going to want to put some heat, because this fastener and these 2 fasteners are held on with red Loctite, so we're going to want to heat it up. And so I'm just going to take a heat gun, turn my power on, and you're not going to damage the finish, but just put some heat on it. And I just take the heat gun and just set it right down there close to it and heat it up. Just let it get hot. You don't necessarily have to put any heat on these. These will break loose easy. But you want to make sure that you don't strip this fastener. So put your Allen wrench in and make sure it goes all the way down in. And then you're going to want to twist it. And you will hear it just kind of a little snap like that. You don't want to take it too far and strip it, because then it becomes a mess. So we're going to loosen that one. We're going to take our, that was with a 3/32 Allen wrench. Then we're going to take our 3/16 inch Allen wrench, and we're going to loosen those fasteners. We're going to take these all the way out. Set those aside. Remove this front one. Set it aside. Now you can take the barrel and move it up and down while pushing out the lugs. Sometimes that will come out. If not, take your fasteners and run those down quite far, and you can just tap those out. Then the barrel will come all the way out the front. Now let's remove the piston in assembly, and let's remove the piston altogether. So this is all spring loaded. So we're going to want to take and hold this piston here, and we're going to pull the rod back. That will then allow us to remove this push rod. Now it allows us to take the piston and remove the piston. This is only on the adjustable system. On the 556 that is fixed, it doesn't have an adjustable. So we're going to want to align it so that it is in the straight up T position. Then there's an access hole, which then we can take our little wire or a little pin punch if you've got a little punch, but the smaller the wire the better. This is actually just a hammer spring off of an AR-15. So you push that in. As you push that in, you can then push down, and then the piston will drop right out. Now you're going to want to be careful because there's a spring in there and a detent. So I just take my finger and put my finger over the hole and pull it out, and then I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little detent that is in there. If the detent spring comes out, that's fine. No problem. Now you can clean all the ports in your piston. Any of the area out here, you can clean all that up. Typically you won't have to remove it, but some people that want to take it apart and remove it can. Okay, so we're going to put it all back together. I'm going to take the spring and put it through the hole so that it fits down in. I'm going to take a little punch and make sure that it's sitting all the way down in there. Now I'm going to take and put the piston up through the gas block, and I'm going to then rotate it so that it's lined up with this hole, and I'm going to take the detent and put the detent right on top of it. So then I can pull the piston back down, align the hole, and take my punch and push my punch through so that the detent pin goes down in the hole, so then I can push the piston up. I'm going to just line it up. I'm going to slide it through. You can now see that the detent is starting to go in, and I'm lined up on that slot. So I can now just push in and push up, and then it locks in place. Then you just put the piston system back together. Sleeve goes on. You can put a couple drops of oil here. That goes in. Take your connecting rod, push it in. Everything's ready. It's now back together. All right, let's put this all back together in the receiver. So I set the receiver down on the rail. Take the barrel, put it upside down, slide it in, align it with the two lugs in the back here, and I stick my finger in the barrel extension and move the barrel up and down to kind of get it started. I'll then take the barrel lock plate with the lock washers. I will then put some red Loctite on these two fasteners. Thread it down so that it starts to go. I'm then going to take and put a little bit of Loctite on this fastener. Red Loctite. Thread it in so that it's so that it's snug. And then I'll just take and put the receiver right here on my stomach, and I will just tighten these fasteners. And you can see I'm tightening them pretty good. You're not going to strip those. And then I'm going to tighten this fastener. Notice I'm taking it and I'm making the wrench bend, but that's about it. Okay? Now we're going to put the charging rod back in and the charging handle assembly. So I'll get this all ready. And then, like I say, you can take a cleaning rod and stick a cleaning rod in. This flat portion is going to go towards you, and it's going to fit on the inside of the receiver on the flat portion. So I'm just going to put it in, fish it in, put it in the hole in the barrel extension. You can see now that we have access to the threads. We're going to take and start the fastener. So we start the fastener, we put the charging handle down, you can pull the rod out. It will stay in place. And then you can thread that down and tighten that up. Then we're going to install the lower rail back on. We just have those loose, stick them in there, find the spot, and then we're just going to go counterclockwise a little bit to make sure that it goes through, and then clockwise and lock that down, counterclockwise and then clockwise, and it will lock in place. And it's all back together. Not very difficult. You just want to make sure that when you heat this up, you heat it up really good so that you don't strip it.